What does the law of compensation mean? If you're watching this video, you've probably got some curiosity not only about the laws of the universe, but about what does this idea of the law of compensation mean? Today, we're going to take a deep dive and show you how you can use it to get better results in your life. So in this video, we're going to dive into kind of three areas on how the law of compensation works and how you can use it in your life to attract more of what you want. So what are the laws of the universe? Something we hear some talk about. I know years ago there was a video that came out called The Secret that talked a lot about the law of attraction. And some people threw that off as it's kind of woo-woo, the idea of I just think about something and it comes to me. But if you really dive in and look into it, there are certain laws of the universe, like the law of attraction, that work 100% of the time. Just as the law of gravity is holding me in this chair right now, and I'm not floating off into the ethers, there's the law of attraction that brings certain things together. There's the law of vibration, which is how we vibrate, and there's the law of compensation. And the law of compensation is this idea that if we put something out into the universe, say we put a seed and we plant it, and we water it, and we let it grow, that over time it is going to grow. So what we're putting out is always going to come back. So when you're talking about the law of compensation, most people are looking, where's my stuff? I've been doing the work, right? I've been putting it out there and I want to be compensated for it. Like how come my stuff isn't coming? How come it's not growing? And so there's some important things to look at when you're talking about the law of compensation. The first thing is just an understanding that you don't control the timing or the source, right? Sometimes our frustration in life, our frustration with maybe the law of compensation is, hey, my understanding is that if I plant seeds, they're going to grow. That if I put good work out, I'm going to get compensated for it. If I do nice things and give out positive energy, I'm going to receive it back. And although that is true, the way it works is we don't control the timing or the source. We don't always know where the good that comes from our good work is going to come from. And I've seen in work with myself and with my clients, a lot of time that's where frustration with the law of compensation comes, is we get impatient, right? And if you think about it, the law of compensation from a farmer's point of view, a farmer takes a seed and plants it in the soil, tucks it in the soil, it waters it, it may fertilize it, and it waits for it to grow. And it just trusts that the way this law works, that it's going to grow and it's going to come to bloom. You don't see the farmer digging up a seed and saying, hey, how come you're not growing? Where's my plant? How come it's not here, right? And so when we're working with the law of compensation, we just have to understand that I don't control the timing of the source. Whatever I'm trying to get by using it for me in my personal life, I don't control the timing of the source. The first step is just understanding and letting go of that. The second thing we should talk about if you're trying to use the law of compensation in your life to maybe attract something better is, how does it work? The way the law of compensation works is, first off, is there a demand for what you're doing? If you're putting work out there, is there a demand for it? The second is your ability to perform the work. The law of compensation is going to reward me directly with the demand for what I'm doing and my ability to do it. And then the third is the difficulty there's going to be in replacing me. Let's use the law of compensation and let's talk about it in a professional standpoint. Let's say I'm a sales rep and that's what I do for work. How am I going to apply this? Because I want to be compensated for the work that I put out. How do I increase my value? So again, if we're using this in a professional setting and I'm a salesperson, as I used in the previous example, is there demand for what I'm selling? The law of compensation is going to reward me directly on the demand. The second is, am I good at what I'm doing? And if I'm not, I can help control that by getting more education, by working on my skill set, by doing things to improve my craft. And the third part of it is the difficulty in replacing me, which goes back to how good am I at what I do? You know, one of my favorite quotes is Abe Lincoln's, whatever you are, be a good one. And I think when we're talking about the law of compensation, that comes directly into play. We're going to be rewarded by whatever it is we're putting out. If you like what I'm talking about, go ahead, hit the subscribe button below. The Mountain West chapter of the NSA is a great community. We offer good information, not just for speakers, but for all the content you're seeing us put out here below. And if you like it, if you want to hear more of it, subscribe and even check us out. You can come to one of our live events, or we do virtual events as well. So the third point that comes directly in alignment with the law of compensation is the idea of impression of increase, that whatever I'm going to put out into the world, I'm at some point going to receive back. You know, some people might call it karma. You maybe have heard it called pay it forward, but it literally is trying to leave the impression of increase on every interaction I have in a day. And if you think about it, the more good I put out into the world with the law of compensation, the more good I'm going to get back. And I don't control the timing or the source like I talked about, and I have to let go of that, and I just have to do good work, and I just have to put good out into the world. So how do I leave an impression of increase? Just think about your interactions thus far today. The people that you're running into, the people that you're interacting with, are they better for having coming into contact with you? Or did you maybe set them on a tailspin into a bad day? Because we're talking the law of compensation. Whatever you're putting out there, whatever you're planning, you're going to end up sowing later on. And so the whole idea of the impression of increase is I can make a difference in every interaction I have. If I'm going through a drive-through and I want to pay for the person in front of me, impression of increase. If I see a stranger on the street and I decide to smile and wave at them, I'm leaving them an impression of increase. My loved ones, taking time to ask about how their day is. Just little things to integrate the impression of increase into our life. And this all plays back into what you're looking for information on, and it's the law of compensation. The more good I put out, the more good I'm going to get back. And if I take that into daily practice, moment to moment to moment, just trying to leave every interaction, leaving that person with an impression of increase, I'm going to get a lot of benefit back into my life. I'm going to make the world a better place. I know it's a grandiose idea, but I know I practice it. A lot of the people that I work with practice it, and one person at a time we're making a difference. And I always laugh when I hear people say, well, how is one person going to make a difference? And I heard a story a while back about that camping trip you take with a mosquito. And if you have one mosquito in your tent, I don't know about you, but if I have one mosquito in the tent, I'm going to wake up with all kinds of bites on me, right? That one little mosquito can make all the difference in the world. You, one person, you can make all the difference in the world. And not in an itchy, scratchy, bad way like that mosquito, but in a good, positive way, by putting out good energy, by putting out good deeds. That's the law of compensation. That's adding the impression of increase. Thanks for tuning in today's video. If you like the law of compensation or any of the laws of the universe, I work with this with all my clients. And I've actually attached below, I've got a free guide you can download. Click it, you'll get a link to what holds you back. Great information on using not only this law, but all the laws of the universe to attract better things into your life. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, enjoy the ride. It's a good one.